Unit 2, Week 3 has some more plural nouns for you. It also has these things called collective nouns. And the third page of your packet, we're going to get to appositives, which will help you in your writing. So let's get started. Plural nouns. We've done ones that end in S. We've done ones that end in X or CH. We're going to do F or FE. And in order to do that, you'll want to change the F to a V. Think of a word like life. You wouldn't say lifes, you would say lives. Change that F to a V and then add ES. This works also for knife or knives. You have words that end with a vowel and the letter O. So like rodeo. And on those, you just get to add an S. Rodeos, put an S at the end. And if we have a consonant and an O, so a letter that's not a vowel, like N here in piano, followed by an O, they get an S, sometimes an ES. You got to watch out for those. That might be ones to look up in the dictionary if you're not sure. Collective nouns are new this week, though. Collective nouns are nouns that name a group, like the word family stands for your whole group. Here, we heard what would you have for a group of wolves? You would have a pack. So the word pack is a collective noun because it stands for a group of them. So let's try. They'll give you a word in parentheses that you need to make plural. Like zoo, how would you make zoos? If we look back up above, zoo has a vowel and then a letter O. So we only have to add an S. So zoo becomes zoos. And hoof is that one that ends in an F. So we have hooves if you're talking about multiple feet on the horse. Check out this collective noun sentence. Underline each collective noun. The gaggle of geese were sitting on the lake. Well, the group that stands for the group of geese, that word was gaggle, so that's your collective noun. We formed teams before starting the game. Look at the collection of things. You'd have a team here. So those are your collective nouns. So let's check it. Zoos, hooves, I did good so far, did great. Gaggle and teams, doing awesome. Now you try a couple. Write the plural form of wife. And then check it here. You say wives with a V-E-S. And underlining the collective noun, the herd of elephants walked to the watering hole. Your collective noun is herd. Herd, that's the group of elephants. You can check to be sure. Yep, wives and herd. Now, besides changing F's to V's, you have some nouns that change totally, like child to children, or mouse. What's a bunch of them? Not mouses, mice, right? So we have tooth becomes teeth. Some nouns, though, they stay the same when it changes to plural. You could have one deer, or you could go out and catch 3 deer. They don't become 3 deers. So let's try a couple of those. Ooh, my foot were too big for the shoes. So if you want foot to be plural, you need to make it feet. They found 5 mice in the basement. Or the farmer was shearing all, so there's a lot of them, but it's still just sheep, all of the sheep. Now you try one. The child had their dance class in 10 minutes, so it's their dance class. So we need not child, but children. Did you see what's a bunch of these? Women, volleyball players. I'm going to bake you 3, not loaf, loaves of bread. And there are 4 mooses? There are 4 moose in my favorite book, not mooses. So the first 2 pages of your packet, you have words that need to be made plural, like with F or FE, and you have collective nouns. You also have nouns that will completely change when you make them plural, and nouns that will stay the same. When you get to page 3, we're going to talk about appositives now. That's when you're going to give more information about your noun. For example, look here on the screen. Miss Kathy, my preschool teacher, smiled every morning. Now, I could have had a sentence that looked like this. Miss Kathy smiled every morning. But you might not know who Miss Kathy is. So instead, we put in what's called an appositive. We give you more information and we put commas around it. See these commas on both sides? Here's another example. I made my favorite meal, comma, pizza for the entire family. So I'm telling you what my favorite meal is by putting it in a positive. Writers do this a lot. If you look in your books, a lot of times they'll give you definitions that way too. They'll introduce a new word and then they'll do a comma and tell you it. If your appositive's at the beginning or at the end, you might not have a comma in both spots, and I'll show you some examples of that. So why use an appositive when you write? First thing, it can give more information. Like now you know who Miss Kathy is. She was my preschool teacher. She was really nice too. Also, it can help you combine sentences. So I could have, my favorite food is pizza. I'm making pizza for the entire family. But those sentences are both really short and can get choppy. So I can combine them into one. I can have my favorite food pizza, but I can put it within the other sentence. I made my favorite meal, comma, pizza for the entire family. So my thing's jumping around a little bit here. Add commas where they belong, and don't forget to correct any plural nouns. So watch on your assignment. You might have to add in commas to make appositives, but you might also have to fix some plural nouns. So we have, my mom, the queen gardener, loves to plant colorful flower. Okay, well, my mom, I notice here that she is the one that's the queen gardener. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in a comma. My mom, comma, the queen gardener, comma, loves to plant colorful flowers. So if I wanted, I could take out the queen gardener. Listen to the sentence. My mom loves to plant colorful flowers. I better fix that. But putting this in lets you know that she's a great gardener. So that appositive gives you some more information. So let's check me. My mom, comma, the queen gardener, comma, loves to plant colorful flowers. How about this one? Did you see Grant, the custodian? Well, who's Grant? If you put in an appositive here with a comma, he's the custodian. Now this is an example of where I said you wouldn't need a comma on both sides. See how there's a comma here? I don't need one at the end because there's already a punctuation mark there. So I could have, did you see Grant? Question mark. But I want to let you know that he's the custodian. So I do a comma and give you that information separately. Let's check me. Did you see Grant, comma, the custodian? Pretty good. All right, now you try. Two men entered the museum, the oldest building in our town. It kind of sounds like a run-on, right? So it needs some punctuation work and a plural work. So if there's two of them, instead of man, we need, oops, that's sealed. Let's circle instead then. We need men. So two men entered the museum, the oldest building in our town. Slow down when you read them. That can help you figure out where to put in commas. Two men entered the museum. That's a sentence by itself. The oldest building in our town describes the museum. So that's where you need the comma. Two men entered the museum, the oldest building in our town. So really, I could take out the end of this sentence, but I want to give you more information about museum, so I did with this appositive. What about this one? Our school, Fall Creek Elementary, is on Hoover Avenue. Well, you could have, our school is on Hoover Avenue. But I want to tell you what our school's name is because, hello, we're awesome. So our school, comma, Fall Creek Elementary, comma, is on Hoover Avenue. So an appositive, you could take out from the sentence and it would still make sense. but it definitely gives more information. You should try that in your writing this week. See if you can write it in a positive. I'm going to check myself here. Make sure I got everything. Looking good. So let's see if we can do some proofreading fixes. My teacher, Mr. Richards, needs to calm down. He always thinks students will forget to do their homework. Our life are quite busy, but we will have it done on time. However, Sarah, the chatterbox, is one you might need to worry about. Her mouth moves so fast, I think her tooth might fly out. So let's make some repairs. Let's fix the plurals first, and then we'll go in and fix those commas that need the appositives. My teacher, Mr. Richards, needs to calm down. He always thinks student will forget to do their homework. I think we need students because it's their homework. And if it's all those students, would there be just one life? Nope. Our lives. He always thinks students will forget to do their homework. Our lives are quite busy, but we will have it done on time. However, Sarah the chatterbox is one he might need to worry about. Her mouth moves so fast, I think her, not tooth, teeth might fly out. We fix the plurals. Now let's go and find where those commas go. Who's my teacher? His name's Mr. Richards, right? That's one of those appositives. Instead of just saying, my teacher needs to calm down, I'm going to add in Mr. Richards there to give you more information about who my teacher is. My teacher, comma, Mr. Richards, needs to calm down. He always thinks students will forget to do their homework. Our lives are quite busy, but we will have it done on time. Hey, a little bonus here. What kind of sentence is this? Our lives are quite busy, comma, but we will have it done on time. That's a compound sentence. Hopefully you're putting those in your writing too. However, Sarah, who's Sarah? We need some commas here because she's the chatterbox. And we could take that out. We could have Sarah is one he might need to worry about. But I want to let you know that she's pretty talkative. So Sarah, comma, the chatterbox, comma, is one he might need to worry about. Her mouth moves so fast, I think her teeth might fly out. So now we have our commas where they need to be, and we fixed the plurals. Last slide. This will help you on the last page of your packet. The directions say circle the sentence with a collective noun. Read the directions carefully. Not every sentence is going to have one. Only one of the sentences is. So you're either going to circle A, B, or C. So as I'm looking here, there were many computers in the new lab. I saw 2 boats on the lake at sunset. A flock of seagulls flew over the water. So here's how I'm figuring it out. Computers is more than one, but it's not a collective noun because it's not a word for the whole group. It's just a bunch of computers. Boats, same thing. It's more than one, it's plural, but it's not collective. It's not the name for a group. But check out this one. Here we have a flock of seagulls. So that one, this is a collective noun. Flock means that group of seagulls. So all I'm going to do on my page is circle C, or whatever letter is the right answer. So find the sentence that has the collective noun. This one, we're going to find some collective nouns in the paragraph. Bruce told me about the time he and his friends walked through an abandoned house down the street. He said, "It was the weirdest thing I've ever been in. First of all, we found a huge colony of ants crawling throughout the entire house, even in the attic. The house had 4 flights of stairs. We didn't even try to go down the one that leads into the basement." Bruce ended with, "By far the weirdest thing about that house were the groups of collectible items. There weren't even cool things, like baseball cards or movies. The person who lived there collected glass jars, picture frames, and packs of cards." So remember, collective nouns are words that represent a group, like team. Now it says there's 4 of them, and I'm going to drag this red line to see if we can find them. So as you're looking, I'm hoping you found this word. Colony would be a word for a group of ants. We also have the word flights. Flights would be a group of stairs, like a bunch of flights of stairs. And it looks like down here we have packs. So we have multiple cards there. And there should be one more. What do you think it is? Oops. Sorry, my phone rang right before we got to the final one. The last one here is groups. That represents a whole bunch. And we can check it right here. Colony, got it. Flights, got it. Groups, got it. And packs, got it. So try out your pages for this week. If you have questions, as always, please come and see me or rewatch parts of the video that you might need.